Hello and welcome back to the Listening to Your Gut podcast. So freaking pumped to have Anna Kowal here. She is just, if you, first of all, if you're not following her, please go do yourself a favor. Hello. She is, what can she not do? She's a middle school teacher. She's a TPT creator. Recently, she's now an Etsy creator. She's a speaker. She's a podcaster, an incredible influencer. I mean, again, what can Anna not do? Like, I'm not quite sure. She can do it all. So, welcome, Anna, to the podcast.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here, Kelly. Yay, we finally get to chat.
Yes, we finally get to chat. I'm so pumped.
Yay.
She's also a dog mom, a dog lover. So she's got the two cutest pups, one of which looks like could be my dog's sibling. Like they look
It's crazy.
identical.
It's crazy. The girls are in the other room. I'm kind of like, if you look, like the door's right there.
Oh, yeah.
I'm in this like weird
Yep.
corner
Yep.
that I've created as my podcasting corner in the house.
Sure.
And if they're in here, they'll wrestle the whole time. And I've been on a podcast before as a guest, and they were in here, and just the whole time you could hear them wrestling. I'm like, I'm so sorry. So they won't be visiting today, but
you know what? It's all good. It's real life. I just recently had that happen to me actually. This past weekend I recorded a podcast and I had one doing the zoomies and then the other two going at each other playing. I'm like, really? Right now? This is gonna happen?
I love that you have 3 dogs. That is like, it's 2. I never thought I would have 2 dogs, and I've had 2 now for about 3 months now.
Yeah.
And it's like the love just, I didn't know there could be so much love for 2 dogs. Oh, I love them.
Yeah. And then three's a zoo. You know, we have a little zoo here.
I know, but every time you walk in the house, it's just a good old party.
Yep, it really is. It really is. But I would love for you, Anna, to get us started by just sharing, you are a teacher. How I feel like you didn't start as a teacher, right? Like, was that not your first career? Because we're the same age, yet I'm doing the math. I'm in my 12th year. This is your 10th year, correct?
Yeah.
But
Yes.
fill us in, like, how did you get into education? And like, then take us on this journey of like how things have just, for lack of a better term, blown up for you, which is so awesome. And like all the fun stuff you're doing.
Thank you. Well, teaching was never a part of the plan, but I didn't really have a plan. I went to undergrad and got an English lit degree, and I bartended, and I took a year off and didn't know what I was going to do. And out of the blue, I was like, you know what? I could be a cool teacher. And I hated school like a whole lot because I have ADHD. They didn't know a lot about girls with ADHD when I was a kid. I wasn't a bad kid, but I wasn't a delight to have. So I just was a yappy kid and off the, just daydreaming and running around. And so I was like, it would be cool to be a teacher and like be a positive influence for kids like me, because I didn't have a lot of teachers that I was, felt good around.
Yep.
So I got my master's and I started teaching high school 11th grade English in the Bronx because I went to school in New York. And I loved it. I was like, this is so cool. Like, of course, I struggled. Everybody struggles their first few years. It's hard, it's messy, but I liked it. And I felt like a natural at it. I really did. And I moved to Louisville, Kentucky, which is where I live now. And I was like, I have a middle school certification. Let me just try it. And I will never go back to high school. I'm in my 7th year of teaching middle school. I love them. They're crazy. They're emotional. They cry. They stomp their feet. I just love the chaos. What grades do you teach?
I teach, so right now I'm teaching kindergarten, first and second, but I have taught first, second, and third. So
Okay.
The babies compared to you.
The babies. It's like, I cannot imagine what a kindergarten class would be like. Like,
yeah.
That's the chaos. I feel like kindergarten teachers and middle school teachers are very similar. Like, we have the chaotic ones.
Yep.
Kindergarten needs to be thrown in there with the middle school reputation.
Yeah.
Like, That is intense. I don't know. I don't
Yes.
know if I could do it.
Yeah.
But I love middle school. I teach reading right now. I'm literally teaching my dream job. I was an ELA teacher for a long time. And then I pitched the idea to do a reading class, and I got to do it. And this is my 3rd year now doing it, and I love it.
That's
So
awesome. Oh,
yeah, it's really
I
cool.
love
It's really
that.
cool. Yeah.
You teach that course all day long? It's the same one?
Well, I teach 3 different grades.
Yeah.
So it's 3 different classes. I
Mhm.
have 1 group of 6th grade, 2 7th grade groups, and 1 8th grade or 2 8th grade groups.
Yeah.
So I teach different stories. I basically just do like a short story unit. I only have the kids for 9 weeks
Yep.
because I'm like a specials teacher. And then I get a new group of kids every 9 weeks, which is really awesome.
Really?
Like,
Oh my gosh, I love that.
yeah. There's definitely there's benefits because you don't get tired of any kid. I hate to say it that way, but you get a little break every 9 weeks.
Refresh.
But then you don't know the kids as well, and you don't get to build a stronger relationship. So there's a lot of give and take. I'll
Sure.
probably do ELA again one day. But I'm liking where I'm at right now. So
I
yeah.
love that. I love it. So, okay, take us on this journey of like how did you get into like I feel like you're so good at comedy and just like, one of the big things that I come to your page for is like the relatable reels that you create. I'm like, "Hi,
Oh.
it's me." Like Anna's exactly the way I feel. Like, "Yes, thank you
Yeah.
for acknowledging, my
Oh,
teacher tired or what have you."
yes.
How how did you decide that like this was something you were gonna do?
I don't know exactly when it happened. So there was 1 year in my career where, because I got my second master's in library media,
Yeah.
and I did 1 year in the library, and I hated it. I missed the classroom so much.
Yeah.
And during that period, I was helping a lot of ELA teachers create stuff. And I had started selling on Teachers Pay Teachers. So I was like, you know what? A free way to market this is to get on Instagram. So that was the original purpose of Read Away with Miss K.
Yeah.
Was I'm going to sell middle school and upper elementary school resources and try to be like helpful to teachers.
Sure.
At the same time, I'm also like our district hires veteran teachers to be a mentor teacher for a first year. So every first year has a mentor teacher that's just like their buddy.
Yep.
And I always use humor with my mentees. I've always been a jokester. I've always been dramatic. My parents called me Lucille Ball when I was a kid because I was just very dramatic all the time. And I don't know when I started doing funny reels, but I did. Actually, the very first reel I ever did was kind of goofy. It was me like singing on the last day of school going home, so excited. And I just started doing more of it, and I loved it. And it's my creative outlet. I love writing scripts because for board teachers, I write scripts and turn them in and then get to act out stuff. And it's just kind of like living a dream that I never thought was a possibility. And it just kind of blew up, and here we are. So yeah.
Love it. I mean, yeah, you just excuse me, you just alluded to, yeah, you're connected with the board teachers, you're on, podcasts. The Teachers Off Duty podcast. So many like different ways you've kind of like branched out and like gotten connected to these even larger platforms. So I feel like I remember you telling me this before, but how did you get connected with board teachers? Was it some of those teachers were originally in Kentucky? Was that correct? Am I
Nope.
no.
Nope. Nope. I they like, for a lack of a better phrase, they like discovered my Instagram page and they reached out and they were like, "Hey, we think that you would be really good on our page. Would you be interested in it?" And I was interviewed, and yeah, and so board teachers is connected to Teachers Off Duty. So I got hired about a year ago on board teachers, and quickly was asked to be on the podcast. And so that's how that's how I got onto the podcast, was through that. And board teachers is like the coolest job I've ever had. I've met so many cool people. It's really cool to see, what filming's like with other people. Like it's been fun to get to work with other content creators who do teacher humor. I have a friend that owns her own boutique, like a women's fashion boutique, and she's really into content, but it's like very fashion forward, and like I'm a goofball, so we still do content together, but it's different when it's your niche. And that's been probably my favorite part about board teachers, is meeting other people that have similar interests and similar goals. So
that is so cool. So I know, like, there's the tour for teachers off duty right now. They're going like on a comedy tour. Will you be part of that?
I really want to be. I'm like, hey, please invite me. So that's the next step. And this summer I'm getting into speaking engagements, and I'm a little nervous, just because, like, I haven't done a lot of public speaking. I have at my own district and whatnot, but I'm excited to branch out. And I think if this summer goes well, I'm going to really try to pitch that, I should get into stand up, or even just do like an open mic locally here in Louisville, because I've been a fan of stand up comedy since I was a little girl. So it would be really cool. I never thought before social media that it could be a possibility in my life, but social media can really, it's just open. You can go after whatever you want to go after. And I didn't know that until a couple of years ago. And so I'm trying to use it for all I can.
When you are just such a natural.
Thank you.
I mean, it's like you crack me up. The days where I'm like, whoa, I am just dragging, I will like come to you and I'll be like, yep, there's my laugh. Like that's gonna get me through. So
we are all in this together, honey. I mean, we really, really all, like, it is such a, like, that's one cool thing about social media is like universally teachers across the world feel the same. Like, I think teaching is such an isolating job because you're not around adults all day.
Right.
And I feel like I'm on an island by myself all the time, but we all feel the same way. Like we all have the same thoughts. It's crazy. And social media has really shown that to me. So it's very therapeutic for me to, like, if something bad happens at work, I'm like, how can I turn this into a funny reel and relatable to other people? And I immediately feel better. It's like, it didn't happen. Now it's just a joke and it's over with. And now I can make people laugh. And that helps tremendously on my bad days. It really does.
Well, it's helping you and it's helping us too.
Good. I'm so glad. That's like the best compliment in the world, to like help other teachers, because I love being a teacher. And I know how hard it is. So I want to help those that are struggling and that are like, maybe this isn't for me. And I'm like, but maybe it is. Hold on. We're in this together. Yeah.
Hold on. Yeah. Well, and to that extent, I would love to know, because this is a health and wellness podcast. So I want to tie that in. I mean, selfishly, I wanted you on here because I just wanted to connect with you and chat. But I would love to know, like, I'm sure the content that you create is helpful for you in terms of like combating, what we call teacher tired, right? But like, how else, for teachers that are out there struggling and like coming home and like don't feel like they have the energy to cook. They get home and they like, couch. I love how you phrase it, couch rot. I've been using that couch rot. Like, how do you, and we know that there are times when we have to do that, right? Like there's no but how do you combat like couch rotting 24/7 and like, being able to kind of pick yourself up, on those rough days or those days where it's like, I don't even think I can do this, or, get through the day, or the days where it's an atypical day, but it's like, gosh, this is, I'm in a funk. Like you had said the other day, I'm like, yep, me too, girl. We're both here together, both in a funk. How do you get through that?
Well, I was actually just talking to one of my best friends from childhood right before I got on here with
Yeah.
you, and she was in a funk. And I was like, I think sometimes we have to accept, hey, I'm going to allow myself to be in this funk today. I'm going to be a funk. I'm going to be a funky mood. I'm going to couch rot. I'm going to be lazy.
Yep.
Tomorrow, I am going to acknowledge that it happened. It didn't make me feel better. I acknowledge it. And now I have to forget about it, because
Yeah.
if we constantly are dwelling on the fact that, like, well, I didn't do anything today and I'm lazy and I'm a piece of poo because I didn't do my goals or my to do list,
Yep.
like, just accept it, acknowledge it. I wasn't feeling myself. I didn't do what I wanted to do. Today's a new day. Forget about it. Like, got to
True.
move on. And because I get in my funk sometimes where, like, I'm a binge eater, I'll eat my feelings a lot.
Hmm.
And if I do it one day, I'm like, well, the second day I'll be like, you know what, I did it yesterday, why not do it today?
Yeah.
And like kind of go in that negative path. And I'm like,
Yep.
wait, yesterday was yesterday. I don't have to choose that for myself today.
Mm.
and and that takes a lot of power, it
Right.
does. Like, I read a ton of self-help books. I'm always self-helping it up, honey. I love them. I need them in my life.
Yeah.
um I have certain excerpts from certain books that I will pick up and read when I'm in the funk. I'm like, I will star passages that I know will get me out of my funk.
Yeah.
um but I do think it's about making sure you allow it to happen, and then having like a little, like, toolbox of things that can get you out of it. Like, if you know you've had a bad day and you want to get some sunshine and walk with your dogs, there's some days where you don't have the energy to do it, right? But if you write down in your journal or something, because I'm a big journaler too,
Yeah.
hey, I had a bad day, but that walk, I felt so much better afterwards. So, Anna, next time you're in a funk, go on the walk. Just
Yeah.
do it. Like,
Yeah.
so it's a balance of, you know what, I'm going to couch rot today and I'm going to be
Yeah.
okay with it.
Yep.
And then the other days being like, hey, I'm going to look at my journal and see what put me in a good mood the last time. Like, tracking your mood really helps. And there's so many cool apps out there that
Oh
can
yeah.
help.
Oh
And
yeah.
I mean, I'm going to be honest, my contract is over at 2:15. I do not think about work. I don't. Like, I will not allow myself.
Yep.
Like, I leave work and I'm done.
Yep.
And it'll start back tomorrow at 7 o'clock on the dot. And that took me probably 6 years of teaching to get that way,
Mm-hmm.
because it is such a hard job to
Yeah.
turn off.
Oh, it is.
Really is, because we love, like, we're passionate people. We wouldn't do this if we didn't
Right.
have a lot of passion and compassion for our students.
Right.
And it's so easy to go home and think about them and how can I help this kid and how can I make this lesson more exciting. You know what? No one's going to give you a gold star for going home and thinking about it for 2 hours.
Right.
Nobody cares. Nobody. Like, and that sucks, and that's
Yep.
a harsh reality, but, like,
Yep.
if you go home and not think about it, or you go home and think about it for 4 hours, doesn't make a difference. Doesn't make
Right.
a difference.
Right.
Like, so I tell a lot of young teachers, like, try to train yourself to turn it off.
Yep.
And it's hard, but
That is. And I love that you tell younger teachers that, because I think back to like my first couple of years and how wonderful it would have been to have had someone say that to me, because
yep,
like you, it took me, honestly, what would that have been? Yeah, probably around the same amount of time, because I started teaching in 2013 and it probably took until the pandemic. So
yep,
2019, 2020, where I flipped a switch and I was like, same thing.
yep,
I'm staying until 5, 6 o'clock. We don't get out until almost 4 o'clock. I'm staying until 5, 6 o'clock. I'm one of the last people in the parking lot. And then what do I have to show for that extra
nothing.
effort that I put in? Nobody's seeing that. And like you said, nobody's like, here's an extra $50 for your time. It's like
Right.
paid extra. So go home, take care of yourself, and come back, and it'll all be waiting for you in the morning,
Yep.
and you can do it again, and start from scratch then. Like I appreciate you saying that, and I'm so glad that there are women and men, I'm sure too, in your life that you are mentoring, that get to hear that from you, because what a mindset shift when you
Yeah.
realize that.
It really, like, I'm such a happier teacher. I don't yell at kids. I'm not as irritable. I'm irritable sometimes, okay? But I'm not nearly as irritable. I
Yeah.
rarely raise my voice anymore, and it's because I choose to be a happy teacher, which requires me to shut it down. And it really helps. And I remember my first year of teaching, I had a really tough AP. And honestly, I'm a good teacher because of her. Like, she really taught me a lot of valuable things about being a teacher, but she was tough.
Yeah.
And I sat her down one day and I said, I feel like I'm about to have a mental breakdown. I think I need to take tomorrow off. Like, I was very vulnerable. I was like, I never took sick days at that point in my career. And I was like, I really need to take off tomorrow. Like, I'm not doing well. And she was like, well, I strongly advise against that. And I went to work the next day
Yeah.
and I was miserable that week. And I cried that day when she told me that. And I will never do that to myself again now. Like, I always tell myself, like, if I'm being super irritable around the kids for no reason, like they're actually not being bad and I'm just being snappy, I'm like, tomorrow's a mental health day. I'm doing it. Like,
Yeah.
tomorrow, if I'm being sassy to my students for no reason, it is time to take a day. And I
Yeah.
guarantee if I take that day off and then come back, I'm going to be a refreshed teacher.
Yep.
And I just didn't have that mentality when I first started teaching because my boss didn't have that mentality.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, our sick days are our sick days, and our mental health is priority
Yep.
just as much as our physical health. And if
Yep.
you need to take your sick day and you have your sick day, take it.
Take it. Yep.
Like, please take it. You will feel better. Like, if
Mhm.
you're like, you're gonna feel a little bit better when you take a day off. It's just, or at least I always am. So
Yeah. Likewise, again, such a great nugget that you're
yeah,
dropping to remind people again, yeah, that I think sometimes we get, I don't know what exact, it could be multiple things, right? I've heard some people say like, um, they have, past like preconceived notions from when they were a child that like their parents didn't let them, not go to school unless they were throwing
yep,
up or what have you. And I think
right,
some of that type of stuff kind of clouds our thinking, and it's like, oh my God, even though I'm an adult, mom and dad said, never, not go to school. Like you got to go unless, it's an emergency. And I think we, to your point, like sometimes neglect intrinsically going inside and realizing like, okay, sometimes it's not throwing up and,
yeah,
diarrhea or whatever, or the flu. Sometimes it's just this, your mental sanity that needs a break and a refresh. And
yeah,
hello, take it. Like you said, if you
yeah.
got those days, take the day because you'll come back. I've taken it before. You'll come back a new woman.
Yeah, you're like, "Oh my gosh, I was just being gripey for no reason." Like, and
Yeah.
when you talk about, like, our parents, like, my mom, is older and she works part-time at Ulta, which my students are very jealous of because I get free stuff all the time from Ulta. But, she works part-time. It's just, she doesn't have to work, but she wants to work to get out of the
Yeah.
house and whatnot.
Yeah.
She is terrified to take a sick day. I mean, she's like, "Oh, I can't," like, and she is 68 years old. Sorry, mom, calling out your age there, girl. I love you. But, I'm like, Mom, you don't feel good. You have a cold. Like, stay home. It's a part-time job. Like, stay. They're not going to miss you. Like,
Right.
they would replace you in a heartbeat. Like, just take the day. And she has that mentality that, no, I must go.
Yeah.
And it breaks my heart for her because I see her and it'll make her even sicker because
Yep.
she's not getting the rest she needs. And I see that with so many teachers.
Yep.
And we love our students and we want to be there for them. And writing a sub plan is a nightmare. And luckily for me, technology, my school's a one-to-one technology based school.
Oh,
So it's
woo.
very easy for me to do a sub plan as a middle school. I'm just like, I just get on Common Lit is what I always use. And I'm like, read this story, answer all these questions, write 7,500 paragraphs, and leave the sub alone. And so it's easy for me now. But when I used to have to write real sub plans, it was not fun to take a day, but
Oh, yeah.
it's worth it. I tell people over the summer, get your sub plans ready over the summer so you don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
Just
Yep.
get them ready to go, or buy old school textbooks and whip out the textbooks for the sub. Like, you do
Yeah.
something that's going to make it easy for you to
Yep.
take a mental health day when you need
Yep.
it. Be
Absolutely.
prepared.
Yeah.
So,
I love that advice. And
yeah.
to that point, kind of segueing to something similar to the, conversation of teacher tired. I'm curious, have you ever, I feel like you probably have, but I don't know. Have you ever felt like you've gone through burnout as a teacher?
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. So the year that I decided to go to the library,
Yeah.
I was sick of school. I was sick of teaching. I was exhausted. You know, middle school, just like with elementary school, like you're with the kids 24/7. We escort them, we transition to and from classes. I mean, you never sit down. And I definitely was feeling burnt out at that point in my career where I was like, I just don't know, like, but I didn't have a backup plan. And so the school librarian just happened to ask me. She was like, "Hey, I'm leaving. Do you want my job? I think you'd be great at it." And I was like, "Well, what do I have to do?" She's like, "You have to get your master's, but we can get you an emergency cert and get you in here." And I was like, "Yeah, let's just do it." Like it was just something like a different change. And even though I hated being a librarian, it was so good for me because I couldn't believe I missed the classroom. I
Yeah.
was like, 2 months ago, I wanted to rip my hair out and I was bored and redundancy and burnt out and exhausted. And now I just itch to get back into the room. I was like, I want the chaos back because the library where I was at, and I don't think this is true for all librarians, but where I was at, it was super chill.
Hmm.
I'm not a chill person. I'm crazy. I'm a little squirrel. I'm running around all over the place. My class is chaotic. I'm singing, I'm dancing. I missed that. And I needed that. So if you get burnt out, switch it up some,
Yeah.
like ask your principal, hey, can I do a different grade next year? Like, yes, that work is you're gonna have to work a little harder because if
Yeah.
you're switching grades, you might have to write new curriculum, but maybe that'll reignite something in you. Because we
Sure.
all have, if you've been in it for 10 years like me, you have passion for education. You don't last this long unless you really love it.
Right.
So switching up your routine, I think, helps. I know a lot of my teacher friends have done that, and it really helped their burnout a lot.
Yeah.
Um, and trying to find stuff that's creative outside of the classroom too, I think helps. Just doing stuff that can get your mind off of it, like truly off of it.
Yeah.
No, that's not like the best answer, but
Oh, that's great. And
yeah,
I think we're seeing a lot of the creative outlet coming out for a lot of teachers now too, because we're realizing it's not a, I don't want to say it's a coping mechanism, but it's a way to share that creativity that we have in the classroom, but in a different way,
yeah,
right? And I think like for you, for more of obviously an adult audience, right?
right, yeah,
And which is a beautiful way to then connect with people who like get what you're talking about, and because you're with children all day, I'm with children all day. So I love that you have developed these passions and these creative outlets that allow you to kind of connect back in with your crowd, for lack of a better
yeah.
way
It really is, and people are so creative out there with their
yeah.
lesson plans. Like
Yep.
none of my lesson plans are my original idea. Like I see people on Instagram and I'm like, that is such a fun, cool idea. And
Yeah.
that gets me excited. Like I
Yeah.
tell teachers that like aren't into social media, I'm like, you should follow like X, Y, and Z because they do ELA lessons and they're just so fun. And you can mimic it in your class and spice up your lesson plan without having to do the extra work. Someone's already done it for
Right.
you and
Right.
they're advertising it for free on
Yep.
Instagram. And like I did a question trail the other day, which like have you done a question trail? It's like
Oh,
multiple, so I did 10 multiple choice questions and I printed one question off on one piece of paper,
okay.
10 around the room,
Okay.
and each answer, like let's say it's A, B, C, D, if they answered A, they could start at any question they wanted to. If they answered A, it would say go to question 7 now.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Or if you do B, go to question 10 now. And if you do it correctly, you will go through a perfect 10 question loop, no
Okay.
matter where you start.
Uh-huh.
And my kids, I saw that on Instagram. My kids had so much fun. They were like, this
Uh,
was and they worked together and they were arguing over what the right answer was, but like in a good, friendly way. And like, they were so engaged, and it was
Aw.
a multiple choice quiz. It was literally a multiple choice quiz. That's all it was. And
Whoa.
I downloaded a free template off of Teachers Pay Teachers. It took 30 minutes of my class period. I didn't have to do anything. It was awesome. So
Oh,
using the resources out there,
yeah.
really don't try to reinvent the wheel, especially when you're feeling burnt out.
Yeah.
I have no shame in saying hop on that Teachers Pay Teachers and hit the free. I always hit the free
Mm-hmm.
a
Yep.
filter
Yep.
because I'm
Yep.
cheap, and and I'll go, and but then once you find creators that do a lot of cool stuff, like
Yeah.
those are the people I buy from, because
Sure.
I sell on Teachers Pay Teachers, but I buy too as well. And
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have to sit here and lesson plan for hours to do cool stuff. And then when you
No.
see the kids having fun, that burnout trickles away a little bit because you're
Mhm.
like, holy moly, I am doing something good for the youth of America right now.
Yeah.
This is cool. Like,
I love
yeah,
it. I
yeah, I
love
love
it.
it.
That's
And that was
incredible.
like, yeah, and I just found it on the internet. Like, cool. And I already had the 10-question quiz, easy peasy. So,
And they had no clue. No clue. They just ate it up.
yeah, they were like running around the room. They were like, "Wait, we got to go back. We messed something up." I was like, "This is so cool."
That's
It was
amazing.
really cute, really cute.
I love it. Well,
Yeah.
I'm also super curious about just like your dreams and aspirations for what's next for you. Like where I mean, I feel like for you, the sky's the limit. There is just so much that's happening for you, and I mean, I'm excited to be along for the journey, and like I feel like it's like a little roller coaster ride, and I'm sitting in one of the seats, like watching you go on this journey, and I'm like, yeah, Anna, keep going, go, go, go. So, like, what are you aspiring to do next? Like, I mean, you've got this the book club that you're doing, which this next book. I actually think I might get in on this. I'm not a huge like horror person,
Yeah.
but this next book seems like it might be kind of more of my jam.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
It's a little bit thriller,
yeah,
a little bit of marriage troubles.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm excited.
yep,
Yeah, so, I love Over Our Dead Bodies, which is the book club.
mhm,
And I do it with two other board teachers, girls. We met each other through board teachers, but we're good friends. And
yeah,
we were all like, oh my gosh, we love reading thrillers. Let's just do this. And
yeah,
it's really small, but we hope to put more work into it and work on that. I really want to write a book on classroom management. That is one of my projects I've started. I've got a working title. I've got a couple chapters down, and I just kind of want it to be like no BS. Like I'm not talking about any child psychologist or a philosopher. I'm just going to talk to people about what I have seen in the classroom. I've
yeah,
only worked in Title I schools. I've
mhm,
worked, in inner city schools my 10 years. I know what I'm talking about, which imposter syndrome has definitely slowed me down at times, especially with writing. But I'm like, just go into it. And so that's a big project that I want to, probably a 1 to 2 year goal, I'd
wow, okay,
say.
yeah,
So I want to do that. And I mean, I just love podcasting. Like I always tell my mom, I was like, it's so funny that I got in trouble for talking all the time and now I get paid to talk. It's really cool. Like suckers. Like, but so I love podcasting. Like I think it would be really cool to do that, a lot more of podcasting. I don't know if I want my own outside of the book club,
okay,
but I
okay,
love being a guest. I love teachers off duty.
yep,
So I would like to do more of that. Stand up is always another thing I think about, but through all of that, I still just want to be a teacher.
yeah,
Like I never want to be an administrator
yeah,
ever.
no,
No, thank you. Yeah, and no offense to them. I love you guys. I just don't want to do what you guys do because that looks hard. And
yep,
I do stuff hard. I like the hard that I'm doing right now.
yes, yes,
I'm
yep,
familiar with it.
yep,
So through it all though, like I imagine that I will retire as a teacher. Like I can't imagine not,
not doing,
my principal's always like, "Are you gonna quit to be a full-time content creator?" And I'm like, "No, I promise." He's so supportive because I like run around after school with my tripod and film, and everybody's really nice. But
yeah,
yeah, so I've got these goals that are slowly emerging, like social media really didn't have these goals. I didn't have a 5-year plan. I was like, I guess I'll just be a teacher forever, like, I don't know. And um, it's just opened up this world that I'm like, well, why not throw yourself out there? The worst that could happen is I fail, and that's fine. I've failed before. I can do it again. How cool would it be if I succeed with some of these little
Right.
things,
Right.
right? So,
Yes.
yeah.
I'm so excited, like I said, to continue to watch you on this journey. And
Yeah.
I know that this summer you're going to be speaking at a couple different
Yeah.
events and engagements. So are you able to share with us like what those will be?
So
Uh,
I can officially share that I will be doing the virtual conference. I'm the comedy keynote for them at Educate and Rejuvenate. Um, I don't know the dates off the top of my head. That's awful. I believe it's mid-July. I'm so sorry.
July. Yep.
But I think it's like $20 and you get 6 hours. And who doesn't love a virtual PD hour? I
Oh,
mean,
on your couch.
yes, and you can come
Yeah.
hang out with me. I'm gonna do a live Q&A. It's gonna be
Oh,
super cool. I'm going to Texas a couple of times for some, like, welcome back conferences for
yeah.
teachers. A lot of
Okay.
districts do that. So ironically, I have a couple of different conferences in Texas, and I haven't been to Texas as an adult, so I'm super excited to see
Oh,
what's going on
yeah.
down there. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm excited, and I've all it's interesting to see what people want out of a keynote, and because there's different options that I could talk about, and all of them want self-care for teachers. And I think that is such a great shift in education. I don't think when I first started teaching, nobody cared about teachers and self-care, and I think we're really seeing a cultural shift,
Mhm.
and that makes me really happy. Like, it's
Yeah.
when all of these districts said, well, we want her to talk about self-care, I was like, that is so cool. Like, what a cool thing for a district to be like, we want to take care of our teachers. That's really awesome to hear. It gives me hope.
Yes.
um, it does. And this is such not a hopeful time for a lot of educators, and it's a
Yeah.
scary time for a
Yeah.
lot of us. So
Yep.
I do like sharing that with people, that there are people out there that care about our well-being. And so yeah.
That's incredible to hear. I love that. I'm excited. I'm gonna have to sign up for that. I mean, that's a no-brainer. That one, the virtual one, $20.
Yeah,
Hello.
yeah, yeah,
Sign
yeah.
me
I was like, can I get some hours too? Because I could use some hours. I actually did a PD last year for them on classroom management,
Oh,
and how
cool.
to gamify it, and it was really cool. And like, when you go to this conference, you get access to all the videos for like up to 20 days or something, so you don't have to like burn through them all in one day. You can kind of
Yeah.
leisurely go about it. So it's really a cool idea. I'm glad to be a part of it because I love me a virtual PD. Oh,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
mhm.
Well, and on that topic of like self-care and wellness, I'm curious, you just recently shared a blog post, and I was looking at all the books that you had that you were sharing on like self-care and self development and growth. If you, I know it's hard to pick one, so maybe I'll say one to three. If you could pick like one to three books that you feel like just massively have impacted you and how you show up for yourself as a teacher, like as a human,
Yeah.
but obviously, being in this profession of a teacher, what books would you share?
So when I was on that phone call with my friend earlier, we were talking about, have you heard of the book, The 101 Essays That'll Change Your Life? I believe her name's Brianna West or Brianna Weist. I'm not sure.
Okay.
And it's 101 essays, all written by her, short essays,
Okay.
and they're broken up into categories so that if you're feeling down about something, you can look at the table of contents and be like, oh, I need, I need a better relationship with my food or something. And you can look at the table of contents and say, okay, this might put me in a better mood with this topic, and go read an essay. And they're short, they're powerful, they're
Ooh,
punchy. And like, that's one of the books that I have starred with me, is that, like,
okay.
if I'm in a mood, I'm like, I know that this 3-page essay is going to put me in a better mood. And
Yep.
my friend, we actually compare to see like, well, which ones do you have starred? Because yeah, we both went through a breakup at similar times, and this Brianna Westerweiss, I hate that I don't know, but it's one of the two. She has multiple books like that are essays. We read, me and my friend read a book about essays on love and like loving ourselves.
Okay.
And that was super powerful. Like, I just love anything she writes.
Yeah.
So she's really great for just healing
Oh, yeah.
and feeling good.
Yep.
Um, Also, one of my all-time favorite self-help books is You Are a Badass. It's called You Are a
Mm-hmm.
Badass.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll help you get over imposter syndrome. And if you have really like crazy dreams that you think are outrageous, like You Are a Badass will remind you that you can go do those dreams.
Yep.
Like, you can do it. You're the only person stopping yourself.
Yep.
So I'd say like those two, and it's
Ooh,
humorous too, which
yeah.
I like humor
Yep.
in my self-help books. I don't want sciency self-help. I
Yeah.
want like good feels
Sure.
self-help. So those two I would put up there for sure.
I love those. I'm gonna. I have read You Are a Badass, but I've got to check out
Yeah.
Brianna's books because those
Yeah.
sound.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't. I
There's one on healing, there's one on love,
okay.
and there's the 101 essays that'll change your life. I also love Vex King is another great author. He's really short and punchy too. I don't want it drawn out. I want to, like, if I'm in a bad mood, I want to pick something up,
Yep.
read for 10 minutes and feel better.
Yep.
And he's another good one. And he's good to
Okay.
follow on Instagram. He's always posting
Yep.
inspirational stuff. I like following him a lot. So,
I love that. Okay, and my other question for you too is I'm curious. I envision you when you drive to work, like cranking the volume up on some tunes. What are you listening on your drive to school? What is going through the speakers? I gotta know.
oh no. It really depends on the day.
Okay.
If I'm really tired and sleepy,
Uh-huh.
I will listen to kind of like alt rock, I guess. But most days I'm listening, I like EDM, electronic dance music.
Yes.
Like Tiesto, all the old school
Yeah.
EDM, like I am, if it's got a techno vibe, I'm
Yep.
loving it.
Me
And then I
too.
also love like girl rappers, like women rappers. So
Yeah.
Glorilla,
Yep.
Sweetie, all of
Woo.
them. I want to
Yeah.
feel like good about myself.
Yes.
So yeah, like it's so funny. I'm jamming I have a 30-minute commute, so it's kind of long. I'm always jamming. And as soon as I get in the parking lot, I immediately turn it down because most of my music is inappropriate. So I'm like, I don't want the kids to see. And they're always asking me what I listen to. And I'm like, I've never heard that song. And it's like one of my favorite songs. But I
Number
just
one.
don't want to, yeah, I just don't want to admit that I know what those lyrics mean and that I sing them out loud every day. And then I don't listen to anything on the way home every single day. I
Oh,
don't listen to a thing on my way home. Never.
ooh.
I'm always like all those funny reels you see about people in
Coma.
silence. True. Every day. I usually call my mom. I call my
Okay.
mom a lot on my way home. She's like my best friend. So I'll call her. Or I'll listen to a podcast, but I never listen to music on the way home. It's like two completely different humans to
Sure.
work on the way home. It's crazy. Do
Pumping
you
up,
do that?
pumping up on the way
Yeah.
there, and then mellowing out on the way home.
It's like, okay, I can like regulate myself again, you know?
Yep.
Yes.
That's how I am too. I love that you love EDM because that is, I think when the pandemic hit was when I like, I don't know, like for lack of a better way to say it, like I exposed myself to that genre. Like I had
How
never really,
fun.
yeah, and I was like, whoa, this is amazing. And so I've been cranking those tunes on my way to,
Well,
yeah, every day.
well, you're always dancing on your stories, and I'm like, oh, I love that energy so much. Like, there's
Uh-huh.
nothing better than having a little dance party.
Right.
It's just
No, I know.
have a little dance party. It's fun, and I love you. Inspire me whenever you do it. I'm like, I need to listen to music in my house more because
Yeah,
it does put me in a better mood.
sure
And you
does.
remind me that in your stories a lot. And EDM's great because we like to work out, and I love EDM when I'm working out. That's what I
Yes.
listen to. Yeah,
Same.
yeah,
I love that. Oh,
that's awesome. Yeah.
that is, I love that we love so many of the same
I
things.
know. It's
This has been
awesome.
so incredible, Anna. As we start to wrap up, can you share with the women listening in all the ways that they can connect with you? Because now you're on TikTok too.
I know, I was so afraid because my students are gonna find me. So you can find me, I'm mostly on Instagram, Read Away with Miss K, MISSK. On TikTok, I'm Read Away with Miss K, MSK. They wouldn't let me have the MISS, and that's okay. But yeah, you can see me there. You can see me on Board Teachers,
Yep.
Teachers Off Duty podcast, and my book club, which is called Over Our Dead Bodies. And the word dead, the E is a 3, so that we wouldn't get flagged. So we were like, we better change up the word dead bodies because this is going to make us sound crazy. But it's a thriller book club. We wanted to be cute.
That's
And we're
right.
3 women. We're three
Yeah,
comedians. We like to laugh and have a good time and talk about books. So come hang out with
exactly.
us. We do a
Yes,
live book club meeting once a month, so you can come and chat with us, and we're really interactive with our audience. It's super fun.
I love
Yeah.
it. I'm excited.
Mhm.
I'm gonna pick up that book, and I want to be part of that next one. So
Yeah, it's really fun. It's super chill. There's always just a handful of us, and we just have a good time. Super chill. Yeah.
I love it. Well,
Yeah.
Anna, thank you so much. It has just been an absolute pleasure to chat with you today. You are a light in my life, and I know so many others. So keep doing
Thank you,
what you're doing
Kelly.
because you just give so many of us that need that bright light.
Thank
That
you,
that
Kelly. That really
yeah,
means a lot. And
yeah.
right back at you. Keep on
Well,
dancing, girl. I love it. I love it.
no, one of these days we'll have to do one together. We'll like
Yes,
pitch
we
it or
will.
whatever. Yeah.
Absolutely, we will. We sure will.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.